I can't stay here, I said softly. The cabin felt wrong without Evan. The walls looked empty, and the air felt cold. Liam stood near the door. "Mama, what do we do now?" he asked. I tried to smile, but my voice shook. "We go forward," I said. "We stay strong." I needed courage. My boys needed a home. The world did not care about us, but I still had them, and that had to be enough. I stepped outside. The wind cut my face. The sky looked heavy, like rain waited to fall. Noah held my hand tight. "Mama, is it safe?" he asked. "I don't know," I said. "But we move." Abel cried softly beside me. He missed his father. I missed him too. My heart felt like broken glass, sharp and painful with every breath. We walked toward town. People saw us, but they turned their faces away. Liam whispered, "Why do they look at us like that?" I said, "They don't understand us. They don't know our pain." A woman closed her door when she saw me. A man whispered to another, "That's Evan's widow. Trouble follows her." Their words hit me hard, but I kept walking. I had no choice. At the general store, I tried to stay calm. "Please," I said to Mr. Carter, "I need some flour. I will pay when I can." He shook his head fast. "No credit," he said. "Your husband owed too much money. I can't help you." Heat rose in my face. "My boys are hungry," I said. "Please." He stepped back like I carried a sickness. "Not my problem. Leave." I grabbed Abel's shoulder and left before my shame showed. Outside, Mary Whitlow called my name. "Clara," she said, touching my arm. "I heard about the land." My throat tightened. "They took everything," I said. "They said Evan owed too much money." Mary sighed. "I wish I could help, but my own family is in danger." I nodded. "I understand." She hugged me and whispered, "People talk. Be careful." Then she walked away, and I felt more alone than before. I looked at my boys. "We try one more place," I said. We walked to Josiah Crow's ranch. The gates were tall. The land looked rich. My boys stared at the horses. "Maybe he will help," Noah said. "Maybe," I said, but I didn't believe it. A ranch hand opened the gate. "State your business," he said. "I need to speak to Mr. Crow," I said. "It's important." He let us pass. Josiah stood on the porch, drinking whiskey. He looked at us with cold eyes. "What do you want?" he asked. I swallowed my pride. "Sir, I need work," I said. "Any work. My boys can help. We only need a place to stay." He laughed once, sharp and mean. "You work here?" "No. Your husband left a mess. I don't want his problems." My face burned. "Please," I said. "We need safety. We need a home." He waved his hand. "Not my concern. Leave my land." Noah stepped forward. "Sir, we work hard," he said softly. Josiah glared at him. "Boy," I said, "leave." Liam pulled Noah back. Something cracked inside me. "You don't need to be cruel," I said. "We just need a chance." Josiah looked bored. Some people don't get chances. Chapter 2. No one answered my knock. I walked into town with my sons close to me. The road felt long, and the cold wind hurt my face. I needed food, water, and a safe home. I told myself to stay brave, but fear stayed in my chest. I went to the first door and knocked hard. I said I needed help. No one came. I heard steps inside, but the door stayed closed. My boys looked at me with tired eyes. I told them to stay close. We moved to the next house. I knocked again. I said we needed water and a warm place. A woman looked at me through a small crack, then shut the door fast. I felt shame hit me like a stone. I tried to smile for my sons, but my hands shook. We kept going. The night grew dark. I knocked on the church door because I believed someone would care. I said, "Please, my boys need rest." A voice inside said they had no room. It felt like a lie. I pushed my hand on the door, but it did not move. Noah asked if people hated us. His small voice broke me. I told him no, but my heart hurt. I walked fast so they would not see my tears. We went to the old well near the square. I let the boys drink, then gave them my shawl. I had no money, no food, and no home. I looked at the sky and asked why life kept pushing me down. I felt weak, but I knew I could not stop. I had to keep a promise to protect my family. Liam said he heard men talk about danger. I told him not to worry, but fear moved in my blood. We walked past the store. Light came from inside. I tried once more. I asked for bread. The man looked at me, then turned his back. I heard him say my name like it was dirt. People whispered that my husband made trouble. I wanted to shout that I did nothing wrong, but my voice felt small. I went toward the edge of town. The road felt empty. My legs hurt. The boys held my dress so they would not fall. I saw a horse stop near us. Marshal got off. I felt hope rise, but it died when I saw his face. He looked scared, not kind. He asked why I was still in town. I said I needed help. I said we had no place. He looked around like someone watched him. He told me to leave town fast. He said trouble was coming. I asked what he meant. He told me Evan made bad choices. He told me to keep walking. His voice shook. That fear in his eyes scared me more than the cold night. I asked if Evan's death was not an accident. He said nothing, but that silence felt like a truth. He told me not to ask more. He got on his horse and rode off. My boys asked what he meant. I told them to stay calm. I said we needed to go down the long road. I held their hands tight. I felt danger near us, like a storm waiting to break. I knew we had no home. I knew people wanted us gone. I felt alone, but I tried to be strong. We walked into the dark fields. I told my sons we would find safety. I kept saying it because I needed to believe it. I felt the night close around us, but I did not stop. I could not stop. We kept walking until the moon rose high. My feet burned, but my mind stayed sharp. I listened for horses, guns, or voices. I feared someone would follow us. I felt anger mixed with pain. I told my boys to stay close and trust me. They nodded with tired eyes. We found an old shed near the fields. The door was broken, but the roof looked strong. I led my boys inside. The air smelled like dust and old hay. I told them to sit. They leaned on me, cold and quiet. I wrapped my arms around them and tried to give them courage. I heard wind move through the boards. I heard a far horse cry. I felt danger in every sound. I wanted to sleep, but fear kept me awake. This place was not a home. Chapter 3. The Man on the Horse. I held my boys close as we reached the crossroads. The wind hit my face hard. Dust rose in thick clouds. My sons cried softly. "Mom, I'm cold," Abel said. "I know, baby," I said. "Just stay with me." Liam pointed at the dark sky. "That storm is coming fast." I swallowed fear. We keep moving. We need safety. But the storm came quicker than my steps. Wind whipped my dress. My boys shook. I felt useless. I felt small. I felt alone. Then I heard a horse. A slow, heavy sound. Hoof after hoof hitting dirt. I turned, ready to run, but a deep voice called out, "Ma'am, you lost." A tall cowboy rode out of the dust. His coat was old. His hat was torn. A scar crossed his face like a knife mark. His eyes were sharp but calm. He stopped his horse near us and looked down at my boys. "Why are they shaking like that?" he asked. I pulled my sons behind me. We had no home. People turned us away. "All of them?" he asked. "Yes," I said. Every door stayed closed. Something cold flashed in his eyes. Not at me. Not at my boys. At the world. "That ain't right," he said quietly. Noah stepped forward. "Mister, do you have water?" The cowboy nodded. "Of course." He climbed down and opened a small canteen. "Take sips. Not too fast." My sons drank like they had not seen water in days. Maybe they hadn't. He looked at me next. "You need some." "I'm fine," I said. My voice shook. "You ain't fine," he said. "Take it." I drank. Warm water hit my empty stomach. My hand shook worse. The cowboy crouched near the boys. "What are your names?" "I'm Liam," my oldest said. "Noah," my middle son whispered. "I'm Abel," my youngest said. "I'm 6. The cowboy smiled softly. "Strong name. All of you." They smiled back. It broke something in me. The cowboy pointed to the storm behind him. "You can't stay out here." The wind will crush you. I know, I said, but we have nowhere to go. You sure? If I had a place, I said, I wouldn't be here. He looked at my face for a long moment. Who turned you away? Everyone, I said. Josiah Crow, the church, neighbors, even the marshal. He cursed under his breath. Figures. You know them. I know the type, he said. The wind grew louder. The sky turned gray. Lightning cracked far away. Follow me, he said. There's a small ridge up ahead. I got a fire there. I hesitated. Why help us? He shrugged. Why not? That's not an answer. It's the one I got. My boys tugged on my dress. Mom, please, Liam said. We need warmth. I looked at the cowboy. His face was tired but not cruel. Lead the way, I said. We followed him through rising dust. His horse moved slow for my sons. When we reached the ridge, I saw a small camp. A blanket, a pack, a small fire burning low. Sit down, he said. I'll make it stronger. He added wood. Flames grew bright. The heat felt like mercy. My boys rushed toward it. It's warm, Noah said. Feels like home, Abel whispered. Home. That word hurt. The cowboy handed them bread. Eat small bites. They ate fast anyway. Chapter 4. You're home now. I woke early and saw Silas near the fire. He looked calm and ready for the road. I walked toward him with slow, tired steps. I said I wanted to thank him and leave. He raised his hand and told me to wait. His voice was soft but firm with quiet strength. He said people like us should not face danger alone. I felt my chest shake when he said those words. I asked why he cared when the town never did. He looked at me like he understood my fear. He said, You needed someone to say it. You're home now. My breath broke, and my eyes burned with heat. No one said those words to me after Evan died. I felt hope and guilt move inside me together. My sons woke when they heard his calm voice. Liam asked if we were leaving again that morning. I looked down and said I was not sure. Silas stepped closer and told us to follow him. His horse moved slow, like it understood our fear. We walked along a long road of dust and sun. I held Abel's hand while Noah carried our bag. Liam stayed near Silas like he trusted him already. I felt the dry wind cut across my face. Silas said he knew a safe place for us. I did not know if I should believe him fully, but my tired legs needed a home more than doubt. We reached a small ranch with broken fences everywhere. The gate leaned sideways like it wanted to fall. The house looked old but strong under the morning light. Silas said he once worked here many years ago. He said the owner left after losing money and land. It's empty now, he said, but the walls still stand. My sons ran to the porch like they found treasure. I called out for them to be careful near the steps. Liam opened the door and smiled at the dusty air. Noah said the place smelled like old wood and safety. Abel laughed when he saw a small window with sun. Their joy made my heart shake with something warm. I walked inside and looked at the cracked floor. Dust swirled around like tiny ghosts of the past. Silas said we could clean it and make it safe. I asked if he was sure about helping us stay. He said he did not walk away from people in need. He said the frontier was too hard for lonely hearts. His words carried weight like he lived through deep storms. I nodded slowly because I felt the truth inside. I swept the floor while Silas checked the back rooms. My hands moved fast because I wanted calm air. Noah found an old chair and asked if he could keep it. I said yes because he looked proud and brave. Liam asked Silas about horses and training and ranch work. Silas smiled and told him he would teach slowly. Abel climbed into my lap and asked if we were home. I did not know, so I said, maybe for now. Silas stood near the doorway and watched us quietly. His eyes were gentle like he carried old pain. I asked if the gang ever came near this place. He said the land was far from their usual road. He said we had time to rest and find courage. I felt my body relax for the first time in weeks. My boys laughed while running through the empty rooms. Their voices filled the house like soft music of hope. I watched them and felt strength return to my bones. Silas asked if I needed help fixing the porch. I said yes because I could not do it alone. We worked side by side in warm morning light. He talked about storms, danger, and long nights on the road. I told him about fear, hunger, and losing our home. He said I carried more courage than most strong men. I did not speak because I felt tears rising. Chapter 5. Secrets of the Red Vultures. Silas worked with my boys each morning near the old corral. I watched them ride slow circles under the warm gold sun. Their small hands held the reins tight, but full of joy. Hearing them laugh made my chest feel light after long fear. Silas said riding gave children courage and calm in hard times. I felt hope grow like a small fire inside my tired body. We planted seeds together and prayed for rain to help them live. Life felt simple and warm, like a home slowly waking again. My boys slept deeper at night, without fear pulling at their dreams. I thought maybe the storm of my past finally started to fade. One hot afternoon, I cleaned the barn and found a hidden rifle. The metal felt cold, like night even under the bright summer light. I saw a strange red mark burn deep into the wooden stock. The shape looked like wings stretched wide over a falling bird. Fear ran through my chest because I knew that sign before. It lived in old memories I tried hard to bury every day. I carried the rifle outside and called Silas with a shaking voice. He walked fast toward me when he saw my pale, scared face. I asked him what the mark meant and why it felt familiar. His eyes turned dark, like storm clouds building heavy above open plains. Silas told me the mark belonged to the Red Vulture gang. He said the gang hunted him after he broke from their rule. His voice stayed calm, but held pain like old scars under fresh skin. I felt my stomach drop because danger touched my life again. I asked Silas why the gang wanted him and what he carried. He said he carried truth, not goods, and that truth scared them. I asked if the symbol linked to Evan, but Silas looked away. His silence cut deep, sharper than any knife raised in anger. I felt sweat on my hands even though the air felt cool. My voice broke when I asked him to tell me everything now. Silas told me Evan rode with the gang before we met. I felt my heart crack because his truth hit me sudden. Silas said Evan tried to leave, but the gang refused mercy. I asked why nobody told me earlier, but Silas looked ashamed. He said fear ruled this land more than law ever could. I tasted anger like fire because lies filled my life for years. I told him I needed truth, not comfort, not soft empty words. My voice shook but stayed strong like a rope in heavy wind. He told me the gang wanted something Evan stole before he died. I felt cold fear crawl up my back as truth hit hard. I asked what Evan stole, but Silas said he did not know. He said the gang believed I held the thing Evan hid away. My breath felt thin because danger now aimed straight at me. I walked in circles and tried to think of old memories. I remembered Evan leaving at night with a small black box. He said it was money, but his eyes looked full of fear. I told Silas about the box and saw worry hit his face. He said the gang killed for less and moved fast for more. My hand shook, but I said running again would kill my family. Silas nodded slow, saying courage lived in mothers more than men. The sun dropped slow and the ranch felt quiet like waiting. My boys played inside, unaware of the dark road ahead. I sat with Silas near the fire and asked about his past. He said he once carried guns for money, but hated the work. He left the gang when he saw innocent blood fall on sand. His voice shook when he said he still heard screams at night. I told him pain lived in me too, heavy like cold iron. He said healing came slow but grew with trust and steady breath. I asked if he trusted me, and he nodded without a word. His silence felt warm, almost safe, like a promise still forming. Night pressed close. I walked around the ranch checking doors because danger felt close again. The moon shone bright on the fields like silver spread across dark land. I thought about our home. Chapter 6. The guns that came at night. I heard the horses first, and my heart jumped hard in my chest. I told my boys to hide under the table and stay low. They looked at me with wide eyes, and I tried to smile, but my hands shook. Silas ran to the door and checked the night. He said the Red Vultures came for blood. I said we needed a plan. He said we only needed courage. I held my rifle tight, even when my fingers felt weak. The smell of storm wind came through the cracks, and I felt fear grow in my bones. Silas said they came fast. I said we should try to talk. He said men like them did not talk. I heard one voice outside say he wanted money and land. Another said he wanted me. My stomach turned. I told Silas I would not let them take my family. He said he knew. He said he would help me fight. His voice shook a little, but he stood tall. I felt something move in me, like fire waking up. The first gunshot hit the door and made my boys cry out. I told them to stay quiet. I said they were safe with me. I hoped it was true. Silas fired back. The sound was loud, and the smoke burned my nose. I heard boots hit the ground outside. I said they came closer. Silas said we must hold the line. I said I was ready. He looked at me like he believed it. Another shot came through the window and broke the lamp. Darkness filled the room. My breath came fast. I heard the outlaws laugh. One said the night was their friend. I said the dark was my friend too. I said they would not win. Silas said he liked that. He handed me more bullets and said I needed to stay strong. I nodded, even when fear tried to crush me. The door shook again. Then it broke open. A man rushed inside with a gun. Silas fired and hit him, but another came behind him. I raised my rifle and shot. My arms shook, but the man fell. I felt sick, but I had no time to stop. I said we needed to move. Silas said we needed to block the hole. We pushed a table against the broken door, and my boys helped with shaking hands. One outlaw yelled my name. He said Evan owed them money. He said I had to pay. I shouted that Evan was dead. He laughed and said death did not end debt. I felt cold inside. I said I would never pay with my blood or my son's. Silas said he would stand with me. His voice was rough, but true. I heard glass break in the back. Another man tried to climb through the window. I grabbed a pot from the stove and hit him before he came in. Silas shot him as he fell back. I told him thank you. He said we made a good team. I almost smiled. Then I heard Abel scream. A man grabbed him from the side door and tried to pull him out. My body moved before my mind. I ran and hit the man with a rifle, but he cursed and raised his gun. I shot him once, fast and hard. Abel cried and held me. I told him I was here. I said nobody would take him. Silas came and checked the door. He said more men came from the hill. I said we could not last. He said we must try. The night felt long. The guns did not stop. My ears rang. My hands hurt. My voice shook when I spoke. I told my boys to stay behind the barrels. I said I loved them. They said they loved me too. That gave me strength. Silas said he would guard the front. I said I would watch the back. We moved like we trained for this, even if we never did. The red vultures tried again and again. Some fell. Some ran. Some crawled in the dark. I felt fear, pain, smoke, and fire. I smelled dust and blood. My mind tried to break, but I would not let it. Silas said the sky grew light. I said I hoped it was true. He said we survived the worst part. I prayed he was right. When the sun finally rose, the guns went quiet. Only silence stayed. My knees felt weak. My hands trembled. I looked around the ruined room. I saw broken wood, dead men, and smoke. But I also saw my boys. I saw Chapter 7, The Truth About Evan. I sat beside the small fire and kept my boys close. The night felt cold, even with the flames. Silas sat across from me, holding his arm where the bullet grazed him. I watched him in the dim light. I felt fear, pain, and also a strange calm. I needed answers now. My home, my safety, my trust, all of it felt thin as dust. I took a slow breath. Silas, I said, I need the truth. All of it. He looked at me for a long time. His eyes were tired. I know, he said. You deserve that. I felt my chest tighten. Tell me, please. No more hiding. Silas nodded and shifted closer. I didn't want to hurt you, he said, but I can't keep quiet now. My hand shook. Just say it. He looked straight at me. Evan worked with the red vultures. I froze. No, I whispered. He was a simple man. He worked our land. He cared about his family. He made promises. Silas shook his head. He needed money. A lot of it. The gang used him to move stolen goods. Guns. Horses. Sometimes more. I felt my breath break. Why didn't he tell me? He wanted to protect you, Silas said. That's what he told them. But he got deep. Too deep. And then he wanted out. I stared at the fire and felt the world bend. So they killed him. Yes, Silas said softly. They made it look like an accident. They wanted you quiet. They thought fear would do the job. I closed my eyes. Marshal Burke knew. Silas nodded. They warned him. He feared the gang. He feared their guns. He did nothing. The truth cut me open. I felt anger burn in my chest. All this time, I said. All this pain. All this danger. And no one told me. No one helped me. I wanted to, he said. But I needed to be sure. The gang wanted you watched. I didn't want you hurt because I opened my mouth too soon. My voice cracked. You still should have told me. He bowed his head. I know. And I'm sorry. I stared at him, looking for lies. But all I saw was guilt and also honesty. His quiet kind of honesty. The kind that felt like a safe road in a storm. I wiped my eyes. I hate that Evan lied to me, I said. But I hate more that I never saw it. Silas shook his head. You loved him. You trusted him. That's not a weakness. I hugged my arms around myself. My sons need the truth too. He spoke softly. Tell them in your own time. But yes, they deserve it. I looked away. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to tell them their father brought danger into our home. You don't blame yourself, Silas said. You give them hope, not fear. You give them courage. His words felt steady, like warm hands on cold skin. I took a slow breath. Why are you helping us, Silas? Really? He hesitated. Because I know what it feels like, he said. To lose everything. To lose family. To lose trust. I know that pain. I don't want you to live in it alone. I looked at him again. You care. Yes, he said simply. I care. Something inside me settled when he said that. Not healed, not fixed, but steady. Like the ground under my feet didn't shake so hard. I'm tired of running, I whispered. You don't have to run now, Silas said. I'm here. I nodded. Then I want the truth from now on. No secrets. You have my word, he said. My promise. I looked at the fire, then at my sleeping boys. I felt the weight of the past, but also a new strength rising in me. A strength I didn't know I had. I can face it. Chapter 8. One last ride into town. I rode into town with Silas at my side. I felt my hands shake, but I kept my back straight. I told myself I needed courage now. My boys needed me strong. Silas looked at me once and said, You're not alone. I nodded, even if fear still sat heavy in my chest. The town road was dry and loud under our horses. People stared when they saw me, like I was a ghost that refused to stay dead. I saw Josiah Crow near his store. His face went pale. He took one step back, like I carried fire. I said, Didn't expect to see me, Josiah? He swallowed hard. I heard trouble came to your place. I said yes, and no one came to help. He looked away fast. I didn't know. I stepped closer. You saw me beg. You saw my boys cry. You knew we had no home. You said no. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Silas moved near me, not speaking, but his presence was like a wall. More people gathered, eyes everywhere. I heard whispers. She lived. How? Is that the cowboy? Someone asked, Clara, what happened? I said, the red vultures came. They wanted blood. They wanted my boys. Gasps broke through the crowd. A woman covered her mouth. A man cursed under his breath. I said, we fought all night. We had nothing but courage, fire, and faith. And still no one came. My voice shook, but I kept going. Marshal Burke pushed through the group. He looked tired, older than before. Clara, he said, I need to talk with you. I stared at him hard. Then talk. He rubbed his face. The gang threatened me. They said they would burn my home. They said they would kill my sister. I was scared. I said, I was scared too. But fear is not an excuse for leaving a mother to die. He whispered, I know. I know. Silas leaned forward slightly. Tell her the rest, he said. Burke looked at him, then at me. Your husband. Evan, he worked with a gang. He moved stolen goods. When he tried to stop, they killed him. The world tilted for a moment. My breath caught. People around us went silent. Burke added, I covered it because they told me to. I was not strong. I failed you. I shook my head slowly. You failed my sons. You failed this whole town. People around us lowered their heads. Someone said, we didn't know. Another said, we should have helped. Shame spread like dust in the wind. Josiah whispered, Clara, I'm sorry. I said, sorry doesn't change the nights my boys slept in fear. My voice softened, but I needed to say this. I needed you to hear me. A young woman stepped forward. Is it true you fought them alone? I said, I was not alone. Silas stood with me. My son stood with me. Family is not just blood. Sometimes it's courage. I felt Silas turn toward me, and for a moment the noise of town faded. His voice came low. You stood stronger than anyone I ever saw. I looked back at the crowd. I came here so you would understand something. I am not that widow who begged on your door. I am not the woman you pushed away. I survived the storm, the guns, the night, and the fire, and I will not carry your rejection anymore. Chapter 9. A future I didn't expect. The sun sat low over the ranch when I walked out to the yard with Silas. He stood near the fence and watched my boys chase each other in the dust. Their laughs rose into the warm air, and something inside me felt light again. Silas looked at me and gave a small smile. Clara, he said, I need to ask you something. His voice was calm, but I felt a soft beat in my chest. Do you want to stay here? Not for a day. Not for a week. I mean stay for good. I looked at him and felt my breath slow. You mean live here? I asked. You mean make this place our home? Yes, he said. You and the boys. I want you safe. I want you to feel peace. I want you to have a future. You all can stay if you want. My sons heard his words and ran toward us. Liam spoke first. Ma, please say yes, he said. I like this place. It feels like home. Noah grabbed my hand. I feel safe here, he said. Silas helps us. The house helps us. I want to stay. Abel pressed his face into my dress and whispered, no more bad nights. No more running. Their voices broke something open in me. For so long, fear controlled every part of my life. Storms, guns, debt, doors closing in my face. I carried all of it like heavy stone. Now my boys were asking for peace, and Silas was offering it with steady hands. I looked at the house, the soft smoke from the chimney, the warm land that held us, the fields that waited for new life. Everything felt calm. Everything felt possible. I turned back to Silas. Why us? I asked. Why help me? He looked down, then at me again. Because I saw pain in your eyes, he said, and I wanted to give you a safe road. I wanted you to feel trust again. You didn't ask for this hard life. You just tried to save your family. You have courage, Clara, and courage deserves a home. His words touched me deeper than I expected. Not romance, not sweet lies, just truth. Simple, steady truth. I nodded slowly. Then yes, I said. We stay. Silas breathed out like he carried that hope for days. My boys cheered and hugged each other. The wind moved across the fields and touched my hair. I felt warm, grounded, real. I whispered the words that rose from my heart. We're home now. The wind carried it forward, like it wanted the land to hear. And for the first time in a long time, the future did not look dark. It did not look cold. It looked open. It looked safe. It looked like a second chance, waiting for me to step into it with my family at my side. I breathed deep and felt hope grow inside me, strong enough to guide us into brighter days.